I'm Emily Cappiello with the Gourmet Insider, and today we are at Long Island Spirits with Brian Smith. He's the co-head distiller, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the vodka and the whiskey that they distill on premises. Are you ready, Brian?
Yeah, I think I am.
All right, walk us through it.
All right, so we're pretty much a grain to glass operation. We produce several types of whiskey, several types of vodka. We've got bourbon, rye, and single malt whiskey, as well as potato vodka, corn-based vodka, and then liqueurs made from those. We get the grain in from local farms. It is milled up into a powder. The grain goes into the cooker, mixed with water. We use enzymes, and we convert all the starch from the grain into sugar. That is what the yeast consumes, produces ethanol, and from there it goes into the stills, where it is concentrated, refined, purified, and from there, with the whiskeys, it will go into barrels where it's aged for several years. And with the neutral spirits, it is pretty much ready to go right into the bottle.
Do you bottle right from here?
We bottle in-house. We do everything right on premises.
So, question, can you talk to me a little bit about the difference between the potato, it's potato and corn, right?
Yes, really, they actually just finally clarified, or I think it was the FDA finally clarified that no distilled alcohol contains gluten.
Woohoo on
Yeah.
the gluten front.
There's
That's
no
great.
gluten. But anyway, we do have like a certified gluten-free label on the corn vodka now. There is definitely a difference in flavor. I personally actually prefer corn vodka.
Okay.
I think it has kind of like a sweeter, slightly more vanilla-like flavor. Potato vodka is, of course, like very traditional. You know, that's what they made back in the old country. That's what they had. That's what they would use.
I actually want to discuss the Rough Rider and the Pine Barrens here. I know they're both nods to Long Island, where you guys are based. So I'd love if you can just talk a little bit about why you named them this.
So, I mean, we'll start with the Pine Barrens.
Yeah.
So that's an obvious nod to the local Pine Barren region. It's one of like the only Pine Barrens in the country. We are in the Pine Barrens aquifer, and basically we get that water that is kind of like a leftover from the last ice age. As the glaciers receded, we were left with these very mineral-rich deposits that then kind of enrich that water, and that's what we use in the production of the Pine Barrens whiskey, as well as the rest of our products. The Rough Rider, of course, is a reference to Teddy Roosevelt, who was a member of the Rough Riders and well, a president, of course, but a
president, just a president.
Just in case you didn't know,
Just, you know.
one of the presidents. Well, we have the bourbon and the rye. So we also have a barrel strength bourbon and a barrel strength rye.
Right, okay. So now I've actually heard that rye is trending amongst, bourbon whiskey drinkers. A lot of people have been asking for that. Do you see that as well here, or?
There's definitely a growing demand for the product.
Yeah.
Bourbon itself is always like the reigning king as far as whiskeys go. What a lot of people don't realize is that bourbon isn't just from Kentucky, but can actually be produced anywhere in the United States as long as it meets certain production requirements.
So one of those production requirements has to do with these guys right here.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about those.
Bourbon must be aged for no less than 2 years and put into the barrel at no greater than 125 proof. So our bourbon will sit in this warehouse for no less than 2 years, some of them up to 4 or 6 years, and that's where we really start to get into the cool territory of matured flavor and really desirable characteristics of the final product.
Yeah, and then what do you do with your barrels when you're done with them? Because they're one and done, these barrels, right?
As far as bourbon goes, yes, but then we can use them for finishing other products. Like our rye, for example, is aged for at least 1 year in a virgin oak barrel.
Got it.
And then is put into a former bourbon barrel to smooth it out and refine that taste of the end product.
Now, I don't want to leave out the liqueurs. I love liqueur. I think that they're fabulous. I like to add them to cocktails. They just add a different depth and kind of nuance of flavor. So, let's not leave them out. Let's talk a little bit about these guys and what they can do to kind of elevate your at-home cocktail game.
They're a potato vodka base.
Okay.
And then we use local fruit, fresh fruit, and those get macerated in the vodka for a week or two, or a little longer, depending on which one we're talking about.
Yep.
So we offer several different varieties.
Yep.
And after that, we filter out all of the leftover fruit.
Okay.
We add a little bit of sugar, a little bit of water, proof them down, and from there, they're pretty much ready.
I've heard that you have several cocktails here. Let's get tasting, can we?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's do it.